Well, Al, I'd like to thank you for your kind words and your offer of support. You know, as a former candidate, you know how important that is and how much I can value that, especially with actually an election coming up for myself here in just a few weeks with our local caucuses. Our campaign is gaining some momentum, and we're happy to have Al's support, so thank you very much, Al. You know, I've been campaigning for a long time. Many of you remember way on back when I first started about 14 months ago. Many of you are saying, this guy is still here. What is he doing? Well, when you have an issue-oriented campaign like we do, the issues really never go away, especially the issues that we're fighting for. These issues will take us into the next few decades, I believe. That's the way we've got to be able to look at these issues, because those are the types of solutions that we've got to find. We're happy to have the support of Al and the support of many, many others that have come on board and have realized that, you know, I'm not just a younger candidate. I'm a person that wants to bring a vision into Congress that really propels and helps the middle class. And I think that that's a forgotten voice, and I think that that voice is very well muted by the special interests that Al speaks about. You'll see us time and time again refer to these special interests and powerful lobbyists that have really taken the voice away from the middle class. What we've seen is traveling up and down the 19 different cities and counties in the 6th District, we found that there are many issues that are important to people. The top 3 issues right now are the war in Iraq, health care, affordable and accessible health care, and also, when it comes down to jobs, it's the economy. The economy is really on the forefront of people's minds. And what I want to do is draw the distinction between what is being done and what needs to be done. We are seeing a weak, I believe to be weak, monetary policy, with the Fed scrambling to cut rates, trying to find a way to counter what is happening right now. Well, you know, the CNBC labeled that they're throwing the kitchen sink at the problem. That's the way we're going to solve our problems, is by throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it. Well, that's just not going to work. That's the monetary policy. Then we have fiscal policy. Just simply irresponsible fiscal policy. What do we have? Well, we're in the midst of an election year, a re-election year for many. So what did the Republicans and Democrats do? They came together and devised an economic stimulus package, $168 billion. What are we going to do? We're going to go borrow this $168 billion that we don't have. And what are we going to do with those checks that we get in the mail? We're going to go buy clothing. Number one thing that people will do with those checks are buy clothing. So we're going to borrow money that we don't have, largely from foreign entities like China, to go and buy clothing that's largely made in places like China. So whose economy are we really stimulating here? But you know what? It's a re-election year. And when they're campaigning this summer, they can say, you know that $600 check that just came to you in the mail? I did that. Now, the rest of these guys, they may not be working for you, but I did a good job, so send me back up there. That's what we see is just irresponsible on both sides. What we need is we need a vision to take us into the future. We need to be talking about how to create economic stability in the long run. And by cutting interest rates, by scrambling, by trying to come up with a fake stimulus package that may do something here in the very short term, it doesn't take care of our long-term problems. What are those long-term problems? In the past 9 months, by the way, I import goods because I'm a general manager of a medical distribution firm. So I import goods from Germany and distribute their products here in the United States. Well, when I import those goods, you've seen the dollar crash. In the past 9 months, I've seen my margin just vanish into thin air. Why? Because we have a weak dollar policy. The biggest problem that I believe that will be passed on to the next generation is our debt. We've seen the debt nearly double during this past administration, from $5.3 trillion at the beginning of this millennium to right now, it's about $9.2 trillion. That's amazing when you think about that. Every year we have to pay more and more as far as an interest expense and then to pay off that debt. What we have here is just irresponsible fiscal and monetary policy, and it's all led by these special interests and lobbyists that Al was talking about. Well, today we're here to talk about mainly one thing, but it's really three tied into this one. When we talk about energy, the environment, and the economy, we want to bring jobs here to the 6th District. The Apollo Alliance out of California says that we have the possibility of creating 3 million new jobs here in America, what we call green-collar jobs. Well, if you do the math, that's thousands of new jobs we could bring right here to the 6th District that has been plagued for so long with jobs leaving Southwest Virginia. Just a few months ago, of course, we saw another plant close in Bassett. We're seeing problems scattered all throughout Southwest Virginia. So how do we do this? All we need to do is take money from the Congress and say, listen, if we take these funds that we're giving to even the big oil right now, $18 billion in tax subsidies that many of them can be argued, and we take those funds and we invest them wisely into decreasing the barrier costs of these firms, we can have firms manufacturing wind turbines right here in our own backyard. They can be manufacturing solar panels. It's not just limited to manufacturing jobs. We can also create service-oriented jobs. You can't take your home, package it up, and send it to China for somebody to put solar panels on your home. Somebody's got to do it here. So we can create service-oriented jobs right here in the 6th District. And I propose we can bring thousands of new jobs over the next decade right here to our home district. This is really part of a vision that will take us into the next 2 or 3 decades. And we're not supposed to be looking at the next 2 or 3 years as many people are right now. I will not be compromising what I believe to be the right thing to do to get elected. I think we need to figure out what's going to impact the generation that will come after me. And we need to have a responsible energy policy, a responsible policy when it comes to the environment, and also responsible policy when it comes to the economy. And I'm proud to stand here today and tell you that these ideas are not new. These ideas, we picked the cream of the crop from all around this nation, and what we need are strong voices that are not afraid to stand up and say, as a leader, as a person that wants to be a public servant and serve you, I think that this is where America needs to go. So, I'm Sam Rasoul, and I would appreciate your vote not only in April, but hopefully, if we are successful in our endeavor to become the Democratic nominee, then we hope to have your support and vote come November. But at this time, I'd like to